We need to talk about what's happening in Nashik. A massive investigation is unfolding at a BPO unit connected to one of India's biggest IT companies, Tata Consultancy Services. What started as a tip-off has just exploded into a national headline, and it involves some of the most serious allegations you can imagine about workplace harassment and coercion. This has to be brought to light.
Okay, let's just start with a number. 9. That's how many official police reports, FIRs, have been filed. 9. This tells you right away we're not talking about a small, isolated incident. We're talking about 9 separate complaints that have kicked off a huge multi-agency criminal investigation.
And yeah, this raises the big question that's sending shockwaves through the entire corporate world in India. How on earth could something like this allegedly happen inside a company that's known for its really strict corporate policies? The details that are coming out, well, they're both incredibly complex and deeply, deeply disturbing.
So how did this all even come out? Well, the story of the investigation itself is pretty remarkable. This case didn't break because of some internal report or a whistleblower. No, it took a full-blown, covert police operation to even begin to understand the scale of what was allegedly going on.
Think about that. For 40 days, 6 female police officers went in disguised as regular employees. They were sitting at workstations, going to meetings, just observing everything. And what they reported back confirmed the original tip-off, which is what finally triggered the formal police action and the arrests that followed.
And when you look at the accusations themselves, wow, the sheer range is just staggering. These complaints, filed by 8 women and 1 man, paint a picture of a profoundly toxic workplace. We're talking about everything from stalking and molestation all the way to rape and forced religious conversion. The police have even said the accused were operating like an organized gang.
And these aren't just vague claims. There are specific, chilling stories of harassment and control. One employee told NDTV how she was literally isolated from the rest of the office, forced to work all alone up on a terrace while they took her phone and her bag. It's that kind of detail that really paints a picture of a truly disturbing environment.
Now, right in the middle of the police's story, and a lot of the media coverage, is one person, 26-year-old Nida Khan. The authorities have called her the Lady Captain and a key player in this whole thing. But like with so much of this case, there are 2 very, very different stories being told.
And here you can see just how different those 2 narratives are. On one side, you have the police and media reports painting her as this absconding HR head, a mastermind who's on the run. But then on the other side, her family is presenting a completely different reality, that she's a pregnant telecaller living at home in Mumbai, and they claim the police haven't even tried to contact her.
You can imagine the mental trauma. Her family says they are completely shocked by this, insisting she isn't hiding from anyone and is actually in the process of getting anticipatory bail. They even claim that the picture of her being passed around as an HR head was just grabbed from her Instagram with a fake job title slapped on it.
Okay, so with allegations this serious, coming from inside one of the most respected companies in the country, you can bet the response was going to be swift and significant. And it was. So, Tata Consultancy Services publicly laid out the steps they took right away. The employees under investigation, suspended. They launched their own internal investigation led by the company's chief operating officer, so very high level, and of course, TCS pledged its full cooperation with the police.
And this one all the way to the very top. The chairman of the entire Tata Group, N. Chandrasekaran, chimed in, calling the allegations gravely concerning and anguishing. That tells you just how seriously they're taking this at the highest levels.
And then you have the official company line. A spokesperson came out and reaffirmed their policy, emphasizing this long-standing, zero-tolerance policy towards harassment and coercion. They're making it clear that this goes against everything they supposedly stand for. But listen, this is no longer just a local police issue. Not by a long shot. The investigation has gotten much, much bigger. A special investigation team, an SIT, is now in charge. And they brought in the big guns. The National Investigating Agency and the Anti-Terrorism Squad are now involved, looking into any possible extremist connections. And on top of all that, the National Commission for Women has stepped in to form its own fact-finding team. So look, beyond the actual criminal investigation, this whole case just rips open some huge, profound questions about corporate responsibility, about the systems that are supposed to protect employees, and, what happens when that trust is just completely shattered. And this is a key question for investigators.
See, TCS, like every big company, has what's called an Internal Complaints Committee, or an ICC. It's a system designed for exactly these kinds of situations. So the huge question is, why did none of the 9 people who filed police reports apparently feel like they could use it?
Well, the answer might be right here, in this alleged quote. According to reports, when one victim did try to go to a senior HR official internally, she was basically told these things happen and was discouraged from pursuing it. Now, if that's true, it points to a complete failure of the very system that was meant to protect people.
And that really leaves us with this final, vital question that goes way beyond just this one office in Nashik. It's a question for every single employee and every company out there. Because when the systems that are literally designed to protect people fail, or even worse, actively work against them, what protection do you really have? This is the heart of the issue. Because for any workplace to be safe, this kind of breakdown in trust is unacceptable. It simply cannot be allowed to happen. This has to be stopped.